the Sacramento Police Department, and we're getting ready to go live on Periscope. As you can see, we have Officer Van Dusen here with his canine partner, Bosko. So I'm going to give a couple more moments for some extra people to join, and thank you for showing the love. We can see that already. So this is going to be, again, Sacramento Police Department, live on Periscope with Why I Wear the Badge in honor of National Police Memorial Week. And in a few moments, we will be talking to Officer Van Dusen and his canine partner, Bosko. I'm going to give people a couple more minutes to join, so you guys can just take a look at Bosko. Clearly, he's very excited to see all of you here today. Taking a little nap. That is Bosko. Okay, we'll get started here today. So again, this is the Why I Wear the Badge series in honor of National Police Memorial Week, which is this week. Today is the last day. I'll let Officer Van Dusen explain what kind of vest Bosko has on. I see your questions coming in. So Officer Van Dusen, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your partner.
Absolutely. My name's Randy Van Dusen. I've been with the department now about 16 years as a police officer. The past 12 of those years have been spent in our canine team. And Bosko here is my third canine partner. He comes from a long line of great dogs, and he was imported out of the country of Slovakia, and I've been teamed with him now for a couple years. Bosko, his birthday is on Valentine's Day. He is a Valentine's baby, and he just turned 3 this past February. Bosko here is wearing a vest, and it was donated by an organization called Cover Your Canine, and they're a nonprofit who supplies bulletproof vests to different police agencies. Bosko's vest here is used on regular patrol when we're out with possible armed subjects, but it's mostly used in a SWAT environment when something has gone to where the SWAT team has been called out. Bosko is one of our 4 dogs on our department that's assigned to the SWAT team. He wears this vest, and on top of it is this camera system. And this camera system allows us to monitor exactly what Bosko is looking at. On top is this little arm, and this arm can go up and down, and it shows us through his big ears here what he's looking at. Bosko is trained for patrol work, for SWAT work, and also trained as an explosives detection dog. And he's a good dog.
Okay, so Officer Van Dusen, I guess the question here today is, why do you wear the badge?
Ever since I was a small child, I remember back to being age 8 and wanting to be a police officer. You know, there's different types of jobs that people do, and some people have jobs where they show up and they're there and their heart might not be into it. But then there's also a career, and careers are great. You know, it supports your family, and it's kind of an expansion on your job. But I think police work is definitely a calling. Police work has to be something that is deep in your heart, and you have a calling to serve people. And as a police officer here in the city of Sacramento, that's exactly what I want to do, and that's exactly what Bosko wants to do here. You know, we come out every day and we want to catch bad guys and make our streets safer here in Sacramento and help as many people as we can help. A little bit about me growing up. You know, we would always, my friends and I would play cops and robbers, and my best friend Matt was also my age, and we were always the cops. And both of us grew up, and he's now working for the sheriff's department, and I work here, and we get to see each other all the time. And now we play cops for real. And it was a calling for both of us during our whole life, and I focused my schooling on that. Graduated from Cal State Sacramento here with a degree in criminal justice, and just had that drive and that focus to fulfill the calling. And really, I think that's why any of us wear the badge, is that we want to be out here and we want to help and protect as many of the people as we can and take as many bad guys off the streets as we can.
Well, if any of you have any questions for Randy, I'll give you a couple moments to type those in. How did you get into the canine unit?
Into canine, within our department, you have to have at least 2 years on of patrol experience. So I went out, and during my short time on the department before I came to the team, I would go out and dress up like the bad guy in the bite suit and get bit by the existing dogs. So I got to know the dogs that way and got to learn how the training was within the department. Once a position opens up in our team, then it's just an application process and an oral interview, and you get teamed with a dog at that point once you're chosen.
Someone else asked if this is the same canine team that did the tweet-along a couple of months ago, and yes, that was us.
You must have recognized these ears.
Yes.
He's got the giant ears.
Absolutely, it's hard to miss the ears. So, if anybody else has any more questions, ask them now. Otherwise, we will be back in a few moments. Up next, in what's going to be a series of us all day long. Why I wear the badge. We'll be going around the city. Up next will be Sergeant Dusen, who's also in the canine unit. Somebody else wants to know, are your other 2 dogs still at home with you?
I have one of them still at home. My first dog, Buck, passed away of cancer back in 2012, October of 12. My second dog is Bodie, and he's retired at home. He was retired after being shot in the line of duty. Actually, the 3-year anniversary is coming up in 3 days from now. On May 18th was 3 years since he's been shot, and he saved my life, but he was unable to return to work just due to his injuries. So now he lives a happy life at home, just fathered 5 puppies. So he's a happy father and a nice retiree that just enjoys doing some school visits and does a lot of PR stuff with the department. So he's a very happy dog. You can tell this guy's a real lover here. He doesn't know that he's not a Chihuahua.
Someone else was asking about Bodie, if you're Bodie's dad too. Do you want to tell them maybe a little bit of that story?
Yeah, so Bodie, back May 18th, 2012, at about 10 in the morning, on a beautiful Friday morning, just like today, we were out chasing a car theft suspect. There was a car pursuit, a vehicle pursuit, and then the suspect fled on foot from the car. Another officer attempted to stop him, and Bodie and I arrived to help out, and the suspect ran from that officer. Bodie and I gave chase into a backyard in Land Park off Robertson Way, and upon Bodie attempting to apprehend the suspect as he was jumping a fence, the suspect turned around and shot Bodie one time in his face. The bullet shattered his lower left jaw, cut his tongue about 60% of the way off, exited his right bottom lip here, and Bodie was jumping up at the time, so the bullet actually went into his paw and broke those 2 middle toes right there. So Bodie, immediately after a short exchange of gunfire with the suspect, I was able to rush Bodie to the vet, and VCA Referral Center out in Rancho Cordova was able to stop the bleeding and save Bodie's life. Bodie lost about a gallon of blood in the back seat of the car on the way there, but luckily VCA has donor dogs that were able to donate blood to Bodie and get him back where he could live a healthy life. I always joke now, though, with the donor dog blood that Bodie has in him, he's got black lab and pit bull blood mixed. So he doesn't know whether he wants to cage fight or whether he wants to go duck hunting. He's just all mixed up now. So Bodie had 5 major surgeries before he was retired, and he's comfortable enough now where he can live the life of a normal dog at home and lives with his human sister.
So I just wanted you to tell that story because I think in terms of why I wear the badge, that's a big part of that. It's not just Randy, but it's also what Bosko and what Bodie do for our community, for this community, for Sacramento. So I know that I thank you, and we all thank you for what you guys have done for us. There was one other story I remember, but I can't remember the dog's name. I think his name was Wolf. Is that right?
Or Worf? There's Worf.
No, the dog that got flown in with the paws.
Yes.
The frozen paws.
Yes.
I thought that might be one more story that you might want to hear about before we go.
I'm not totally familiar with that story.
Okay.
But you know.
A little bit about that. I know that there was a dog that was located in Alaska, and his paws were so frozen and he was so emaciated that they, I think it was Alaska Airlines, flew him here for free to go to the same VCA that Bodie went to get treatment, because his paws, I think that they were so frozen, like the bones had fused or done something.
He had a jaw injury also.
Yes, his jaw.
Yeah.
It wasn't his paws, it might have been his jaw, and that's why they wanted to bring him here. And Alaska Airlines flew him here for free, and I think you guys got to meet him?
Yes, yeah, so that dog with the jaw injury, they were able to do surgery and repair his jaw. And he's a happy dog, can eat now on his own, and we were able to see him out there at VCA. Actually, that's when Bodie was going through all of his surgeries as well.
I thought that was one of my favorite stories, because another animal in need and kind of a community coming together to help him out, and a great vet that definitely came together to help a dog that needed help, and I'm sure that meeting you helped him on his recovery also. So I think, of course, now I can see a lot of people are joining. If any of you have any questions for Randy, we can give him some more questions. But if not, hopefully you can play back this.
We can talk about some of the value that comes out of these canine partners. It's just, obviously, their nose is a lot bigger than ours, so they can smell bad guys, and it lets us know ahead of time when a bad guy's hiding that might want to do us harm. So these dogs, not only are they a huge asset as far as officer safety and community safety, but they break down barriers that often exist between the police and maybe children that don't know the police, or certain people that just don't associate with the police until they meet us. Having this dog here just opens up communication. Everybody relates to a dog, and it's such a nice conversation piece just to have somebody come up and want to pet your dog, and you can talk to them, and it really helps us get out in the community and be a part of the community. Bodie was pretty much adopted by Crocker Riverside School after his shooting. We've been out there numerous times. Just a few weeks ago, we were out there reading books for the first graders with Bodie. So Bosko here is a real snuggler.
So you're getting a couple more questions now, and hopefully I will remember them all. But just to repeat so that you know, this is Officer Van Dusen with the Sacramento Police Department. He's been with the department about 16 years, and his canine partner Bosko. Bosko has on his tactical vest.
Tactical vest for SWAT.
And that is a camera. A lot of you have asked if that's a camera on his back, and that is a camera so that the handlers can see exactly what the dog is seeing. And then the one more question I think that I may have missed was someone wanted recommendations on how to become an officer.
How to become a police officer?
A police officer, yes.
Live a good life first. Obey all the laws, just the general common sense type things. And if you have that calling, just that passion that you want to help people, go through the process with us. We're hiring. There's plenty of great agencies, but I highly recommend SAC PD. But get your education. Education is the foundation for everything, and I think that's what makes us a very good department, very strong department, is we have a lot of very educated officers here. So get that education and then go through our hiring process. But the big thing is just living a normal, clean life, just one that don't break any laws, all the common sense type stuff.
Good. Well, I do want to tell you you're getting a ton of hearts because people are showing you the love for you and
for little Bosko here.
On Periscope, if you click the link, again, it's available for 24 hours. on Periscope within the app. So that will be available to you, and we'll see if we may post this video because it saves onto my phone also. So I know I'm still getting new people joining. So Sacramento Police Department, this is Officer Van Dusen, his canine partner Bosko. On his back you will see a tactical vest, and that is a camera on his back also. A lot of thank yous for your service, a lot of hearts, a lot of showing your love. Bosko is, how old is he again?
3 years old.
Bosko is 3 years
Yes.
old. And I think, unless there are any last minute questions, we're going to move on in a few moments. You will be hearing from us again. We're getting hellos from all over the world. So we're glad to see you joining us. This is the Sacramento Police Department. The dog, what's his specialty? Any specialty he's trained in?
Specialty is patrol, SWAT, and explosives detection. So he'll find anything that has explosives in it or gunpowder. So guns, he'll find guns. But those are the most common specialties that we do in our department.
Okay, a lot of highs from all over. Some shout outs from Brooklyn, New York, different areas of the country. And a lot of thank yous. They want a Bosko
our
scope.
pleasure.
They would like a Bosko scope. What? They want to know what breed he is.
Bosko is a German Shepherd. He looks a little different. He's got kind of a ginormous head here, but he's a German Shepherd and born in Slovakia.
So again, Sacramento Police Department, this is Bosko. Is the camera on his back live? It's live view.
Live feed, yes. So what happens is when we're in an actual operation, I'll have a monitor mounted on my wrist, and it's like a small television monitor, and I can see in black and white exactly what he's looking at. This also has infrared lighting on it, so even if he's going into a dark, either in an attic, under a house, thing where there's not a whole lot of lighting, this creates its own lighting, so I'll still be able to see what he's smelling or what he's looking at.
So they want to know, Bosko is a German Shepherd, for those who ask that. How long does your dog stay in service?
Generally, we get them when they're about a year to a year and a half old, and they'll serve until they're about 9 years old. With the German Shepherds, the hips tend to get a little worn out. It's kind of like humans. As we get older, we wear down. So when we notice if our dogs are slowing down at all, jumping fences or in training, we will retire them because we want them to live a life at home with their family. These dogs are part of our family. They go home with us every single night. Bosko's got his own bed at the end of my bed, and they are a very integral part of our family. So we love them just like we love our children, and we want them to have a happy life in retirement as well.
Okay, and one more question I think we got was, how long does it take to train a canine?
When they're trained, it's usually, once they come here and they start training with our department, it's usually about a 3-month period, and then that's at the point at which you have a fully, technically cross-trained dog, it's called. Once the dog is trained, that's not the end of it though. There's constant training every single week with these dogs. Wednesdays just happens to be our training day where we have 9 dogs on the department, and we will all train together. And we train for at least 4 hours every single Wednesday. And we do probably about another hour each day of the week when we're just out working patrol. We do obstacles, obedience, agility, all that type of training. If you don't train the dogs constantly, it's a perishable skill, so they'll forget and want to do their own thing. So we do a lot of training extra with them.
And a lot of people are asking, and some people already heard the story, but Randy this is his 3rd dog. The other 2 dogs retired. Buck has since then passed away, but he did, after retirement, go home to live with Randy. And Bodie, of course, who was injured in the line of duty, was medically retired, and he also went home to live with Randy. So that's typically what happens when the dogs retire. They do go home and live with their handlers because, like Randy said, they're a part of the family. This is like their own children. So absolutely, they usually go home with them and retire at the same time, depending on the age of the dog.
We spend more time with these dogs than we spend with our own families. We're 24 hours a day with this dog. He's with me at work, and he's with me at home. He goes on family vacations with us, so they are definitely a very integral part of our families.
And I think you kind of answered this question, but they want to know how the animals acclimate back into your home from being a trained dog who has to sometimes take the bad guy down. Yeah, how do you?
I always equate it to these dogs are brilliant. They know the difference between bad guys and not bad guys, and they're just like a normal police officer on the street. It's a light switch. You know, we may have to fight a violent suspect to get him into custody, and then from there we're going to go pass out stickers to school kids. And it's the exact same with these dogs. Everything that they do is based on training. So to them, everything is a game. They're essentially playing hide and seek with bad guys. So it's never personal. They don't have personal emotions of anger or anything towards a bad guy. So they can shut that off immediately. Once they find a bad guy and we get him into custody, he would do the same thing he's doing to me, cuddle up in his lap and doesn't care. So it is just a light switch, and he knows that when we go home, he gets to play with Bodie and he gets to run around in the backyard and scare the fish in my pond, and so he just knows that work is work and home is home. So it's just like your normal officer on the street.
A couple more of the questions. I think some of them we already answered. This is Officer Van Dusen, for those of you that just joined. He's been with the department for about 16 years, and Bosko is 3 years old. His birthday is on Valentine's Day. That is a tactical vest on his back, and that is a camera on his back also. A lot of people have asked what happens when the dogs are tired. They typically go home with Randy or with their
handler.
With their handlers. Not all of them go home with Randy when they retire, but typically that's what happens depending on the age of the dog. And Randy touched on something that I thought was really, really important, the idea that these are still dogs. He's a German Shepherd. That's what he is. So when he retires, he acclimates back into the family just like he does every night. He socializes with the other dogs in the household, with children in the household. He sleeps like any other dog would, and I think that's important because that's exactly what what we're trying to do here today is why our officers wear the badges, because they're people. That's what officers are. They're people just like the canines are dogs, and they want to go home every night to their families. So they wear the badge to protect this community, and we thank them for that. And with that, I think we will be done with Randy. We'll move on next to Sergeant Dobson in a few minutes, and you'll hear from him. So say goodbye to Bosko.
Bye. Thank you.
Randy.